It seems like Nvidia's GPU shortages and supply struggles just keep continuing, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get better anytime soon. To combat this, they've been quietly bringing back older models to fill the void, and now they might be resurrecting the king itself. Let's discuss that in this video. Hey, if you enjoy content like this, drop a like, make sure to subscribe, and smash that bell so you never miss another video. Hey, what is going on guys? Danny here, welcome back to the channel and I hope you've all been doing well. You're all most likely aware that right now, buying an Nvidia RTX 30 series GPU is next to impossible. Whether it's the RTX 3070, 3080, or 3060, it doesn't matter, they're rarely ever in stock, and when they are, they get sold out within a matter of seconds. Along with that, due to the shortages, prices have soared well above MSRP, and this is before someone was to go on eBay, but retailers themselves are selling the cards for several hundreds of dollars above MSRP, and this is because AIBs have also risen their prices too. In fact, both Asus and MSI have already given the press and consumers messages saying that, look, because the situation isn't getting any better, it's actually getting worse, then you can expect another price hike. Earlier this year, Asus had already increased prices due to tariffs and shortages, and now they're saying that another price hike is on its way. In other words, for anyone who was able to purchase an RTX 3070 for near $500 or an RTX 3080 for near MSRP, give yourself a nice pat on the back because now you're going to have to pay $1,500 or $2,000 for an RTX 3080. It's just insane. And of course, you can always go on eBay and pay a scalper $3,500 for an RTX 3080. But hey, don't worry, shipping is free, so that's an excellent deal, am I right? Circling back to the second round of price hikes and cost increases, this is because that throughout the semiconductor industry, the shortages are actually getting worse. With a worldwide health crisis hampering the capabilities of manufacturing plants and logistics severely getting disrupted, the entire supply chain is just gone completely out of whack. But also, what doesn't help is that most of the plants are located overseas in places like, South Korea, Taiwan, and China. US semiconductor companies have 47% of the global chip sales market, but only 12% are actually manufactured in the US. This is why you have them and other Western countries exploring options of making manufacturing plants within their own countries and, telling companies like TSMC to expand operations here. Though as things stand right now, these manufacturers just aren't able to keep up with the ever-increasing demand from companies increasing their digital utilization, people needing more personal home computers and desktops, and a crypto mining boom. So what you have here are the perfect ingredients for just a complete and utter disaster of the PC hardware market. Now, Nvidia knows this, that they have to do something to at least alleviate the situation. So what they've actually been doing is bringing back older GPU models from previous generations to help fill in the void. Since there are so many consumers in the market with crazy high demand who are at this point just looking to buy whatever they can get their hands on, any GPU, no matter how good or bad it is, will sell out. I have actually covered and reported on them doing this a couple times these past few months, where first we had heard that they were going to bring a supply of RTX 2060s back to the market to target that $300 price range segment. Following that, many tech publications had received word and confirmation that joining the RTX 2060 would be the GTX 1050 Ti, which was supposed to appease the entry-level PC gamers and fit into that sub-$200 market. Though in 2021, if this was a GPU market with no mining boom or shortage or pandemic, I would not be paying more than $60 or $70 for a 1050 Ti. This card released back in 2016 for around $140, which was, back then a great deal. However, with all the craziness of the current GPU market, it's now appropriate to see a 1050 Ti be sold for around $400. This is because right now anything will sell and they know this. Taking this into account, I'm sure Nvidia noted this and said, hey, if people are still willing to buy and pay this much for older generation GPUs, why not continue this strategy and branch out to other tiers and do the same? Specifically, why not bring back a GPU that everyone loved and touted as one of the best? There have been some rumors recently that Nvidia might be bringing back the GTX 1080 Ti, the Pascal King. This information comes from Harukaze on Twitter, and they're a pretty well-known hardware leaker and data miner, who is sourcing a user from a Korean hardware forum. This user supposedly RMA'd their GTX 1080 Ti recently, and what they got back was another 1080 Ti, except this one had a serial number which indicated it was produced in 2021, not before. Now this is a custom EVGA model that they had RMA'd, a 1080 Ti SC or Super superclocked, and it is quite interesting to see it associated with a serial number from 2021. Before we get too ahead of ourselves here and jump to conclusions, let's just take a step back for a moment and think why this might not mean that Nvidia is actually bringing back the 1080 Ti. For starters, there haven't been any other publications or even retailers that have confirmed this. Nvidia obviously won't make any noise about it, but when we had heard about the 2060 and 1050 Ti were coming back, there were retailers who were, listing the models and SKUs on their sites again when we hadn't seen them in quite some time. However, I haven't seen anyone selling a new batch of 1080 Ti's or even listing them. Also, since this comes from EVGA's RMA department, this could very well just be a refurbished card that had a new serial number attached to it. It's very common for RMA departments to do that, where once they've gone through the process of refurbishing that specific item, they'll issue it a new serial number, and that would mean having a revised date on it. So this could be just an older card which they fixed up and then attached a new serial number to it with 21 in it. The reason why I'm leaning towards this being the case is because I went through a lengthy RMA process with EVGA myself back in 2019, which I even made a video about. They actually put me through a roller coaster of a ride before I got a working card, but that's besides the point. And the cards I had received had serial numbers associated with them, which would imply that they were produced and manufactured in 2019. But we all know that Nvidia stopped producing GP 102 chips a long time ago in 2018 because the RTX 20 series Turing was replacing it. So my original card, the 1080 Ti ST Black Edition that I had purchased in mid-2017, had a serial number beginning with 17 in it. EVGA says that their policy is when you send back a card or any component for that matter, they'll send back the same component just refurbished. If they can't, then you'll get whatever modern equivalent is available. So initially I got back another 1080 Ti ST Black from them, and this card had a serial number beginning with 19. However, the first card I had received was just in horrible condition and had overheating issues. Clearly their RMA department had some quality control issues, so I contacted them and they cross-shipped another 1080 Ti ST Black. So this second replacement also had a serial number beginning with 19 on it. Unfortunately, this one also had its own problems where the fans were making a terrible rattling noise. Either they were thrown off balance or the bearings were completely gone. So finally they agreed to send me a 2080, and this card was in much better shape. It looked practically brand new and it wasn't exhibiting any of the same problems the other cards were. In fact, I'm still using it in my personal rig. This 2080 also had a serial number beginning with 19, but to see a 2019 manufacturing date on a Turing 20 series GPU wouldn't be strange, but I know for a fact that those 2080 Ti's were not produced in 2019. So this is why I'm thinking that this user just got back a refurbished 1080 Ti that had its serial number replaced with one from 2021, even though it was originally probably produced in 2017 or early 2018. I also don't think it would be feasible for Nvidia to start producing 1080 Ti's just for AIBs to have some stock in their RBA departments for replacements. It just would be too much of a hassle for them and, too costly for them. At that point, they'll just send you back whatever modern equivalent GPU is available. When I had to RMA my MSI R9 390 back in early 2017, MSI didn't have any 390s left anymore, so instead they sent me a refurbished GTX 1070. They're not going to go through the trouble of manufacturing older gen cards just for RMA purposes. So that's why I'm leaning towards them not bringing back the 1080 Ti, though I don't want to eliminate it as a possibility just yet. Now, in the off chance Nvidia does decide to go through with it and retailers stock up new 1080 Ti's, they'll fly off the shelves. Jensen described it best: the Pascal 10 series was known as the perfect 10 because of how good it was, and you'll probably never see another card like the 1080 Ti again. This card still to this day offers great performance in games. It's still a beast at 1080p and would definitely give you a great experience at 1440p. I even said this in my 2080 Super review in 2019. The 1080 Ti was just too close in performance and just made the 20 series look like terrible value. The only card that had meaningful performance improvements over the 1080 Ti was the 2080 Ti, but then Nvidia had also jacked up the price, which it ended up costing like 2 times more, so it defeated the purpose of a generational leap. If I didn't have to RMA mine, I'd still be using it to this day. The only places where it would probably fall short now would be in scenarios where the user wants to play with RTX on and use DLSS. Otherwise, if you don't care about that stuff, it's still a fantastic GPU to use. Therefore, this card would definitely be selling like crazy if it were still available in today's GPU market. But like I said, the chances of this even happening are quite slim. Nvidia would prioritize smaller GPUs instead before taking the plunge on remanufacturing GP 102 dies again, but we'll see what happens. I hope you guys found this video to be informative and helpful. Let me know your thoughts down below. Check out the video description on ways to support the channel and for my other videos. If you guys are interested in more content like this, then make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.